right, guys. So today on Asphalt Radio, we're talking about more than just packing up and moving to a new country. We're talking about transforming your life because our guest is Des from my Deztination. Yes, she's here. I'm so excited when you come by. How are you, Des?
I'm great. How are you today, Jessie?
I'm good, thank you. And if you do not know who Des is, which is really hard because she's a popular guy, she's a popular girl. She's a consultant who helps people not only move to Mexico, but actually settle into life, into a life they love. I can't talk today. But she goes beyond logistics and she helps people find a new purpose, identity, and peace in their next chapter. So if you want to take that leap, you better stay with us and this conversation may be for you. So, Des, most people think moving is just about finding a house, packing, doing a little paperwork, and that's that. But you do something a little bit deeper. Can you explain what lifestyle and relocation consulting means in simple terms?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really good question. A lot of people, when they think about moving to Mexico, think about just the basic stuff, right? Like just the logistics. And even though that's important, we do have to figure out residency and immigration and where's the best neighborhood and where your kid's going to go to school and how to get your pets here. The stuff that most people don't think about is what happens once I'm there? What's my life going to be like? How am I going to make friends and community? Mm-hmm. What's my spiritual journey going to be like? What are the new psychological challenges that I'm going to be dealing with living in a new country, not speaking the language, not being in my comfort zone anymore? Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of things many people are identifying with in the USA or Canada or even in Europe, such as a job or a career they've had for maybe 40, 50 years. They're now retired and they no longer are identifying with that career anymore. Mm-hmm. And so that leaves a really, really big gap in their lives of who they used to be and who they're soon going to be, but they're not that person yet. And that transition, as beautiful as it is, can actually be a little bit challenging for people. And so what I do as a relocation and lifestyle consultant mm-hmm. is I focus on the logistics because that's important, that's your baseline, but then I actually help you build the bricks of the house to make a full foundation and a lifestyle for you here that you're going to love so much that you're never going to want to leave Mexico.
That's crazy because yes, we don't ever think of that. I mean, we just, all right, well, we'll see what happens. Right? Yeah. I'm sure I'll make friends, or I'm sure there's a church kind of like the one I go to here. But then you come and find out, oh, wait a minute, people are a little different, or there's the church that, the type of church that you like, or, whatever spiritual thing you do, it's not available at the new place that you have. So it's fantastic that there's someone like you to really, tell us how to do it. And so you help people with stuff like health insurance, and even figure out who they are after retirement or burnout. So what are some cool, surprising changes you've seen in the people you work with?
Well, I think that as a former American myself from the United States, I identified a lot with that consumerism, like hamster wheel, right? Mm-hmm. You're just going to work 40 hours a week, you live to work, you only have a small amount of time on the weekends. You don't often get the opportunity to find your purpose and find what inspires you because you're just too busy in survival mode just trying to pay the bills because everything there is so expensive and just the way of life is so different. And what's so unique about Mexico, and this is something like I've never experienced anywhere else in the world, is that when you come here, not only is it going to open up space for you in your day-to-day life because you don't have to work as much and earn as much to mm-hmm. have a wonderful quality of life here, but you also are going to be spending your time out in nature, you're going to be spending your time in community, and then when you have that extra space, a lot of people think, oh man, if I had all the free time in the world, I'd be so happy, mm-hmm. but the reality is they don't know how to fill it. And so this is where I get to talk to my clients and I get to figure out what inspires them, what they're passionate about, what their fears are, what are the things that annoy them in the world. And then I literally take this profile of the client and I get to know them. And then what I do is I help connect them with who they are and then who they're going to be. And I give them the community that they need for support. I give them the spiritual foundation that they need, the volunteer projects to work with. I help them start their passion projects, starting a business. There's just so much more to moving to Mexico than just the logistics.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because you're helping someone rebuild their life in every way. In every way. That's very complete. So a big part of your work is helping people also reconnect with their purpose. And that's what you were talking about. So why is it so important when someone is also moving to a new country? And have you found someone that doesn't, they're like, no, I don't think that I'm like what am I saying? I don't think that what I'm looking for is there.
Yes. So a lot of people think that when they move to Mexico, the goal is to just sit on the beach underneath a palm tree with a margarita and turn into like a fried piece of bacon. And as great as that is for like a week, after that, you start to get a little anxious, a little bit like, okay, what's next? What's the big thing in my life?
Right.
And what a lot of people don't understand about happiness is actually not just sitting on the beach with that margarita, even though it'll keep you happy maybe in that one small moment. When you wake up the next day with a hangover, you're not that happy anymore. And
True.
You still need meaning, right? You still need something to sustain you through your day to day. And so what I've actually discovered in my own studies and my own personal transformation is that meaning is found through adapting responsibility and volunteering yourself in service of something greater than yourself. And one of the greatest things about being here in Mexico is there is so much need here, whether you love to support animals, you love to support children, you like to teach English, you like to clean the Rio Quale, you like to go out into the ocean and do cleanup out there. I mean, there's a million ways that you can give back here. And this is truly what people, I think, miss when they think about happiness. What they mean is, I want meaning and purpose, something to sustain me through the basic normal tragedies and sufferings of life that we're all going to deal with, because that's what life is, right? So you need something greater than just that beach, that margarita, and that palm tree. Of
course. Oh my gosh, this is so meaningful. I love it. Yeah, if you don't know, there's nothing there. Yeah, I'm sure there's something here that you will love.
So much, yeah.
All right, so you're also studying Peterson Academy and use psychology stuff like Erickson's life stages. How does that help in the work you do with people starting a new life?
Well, like I mentioned before, a lot of my clientele is recently retired. And so those people often identified with one career their entire life, or they've been married to the same person for a long time and that person has widowed, or maybe they're moving together, or maybe the person is single here. So a lot of what people are going through is an identity transformation. And there's something called the relevancy realization gap. And what this means is people who lived in the US, Canada, the UK, anywhere in the world really, they had a bunch of things in their day-to-day life that were relevant to them at that point. But when they leave that comfort zone and they come to a new place, who they're going to be, this new identity, hasn't quite manifested itself yet. So there's a gap in between who they were and who they're going to be. And so depending on where you're at in your stage of your life, if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're going through the isolation versus intimacy stage of psychosocial development, or you're in your 60s and 70s and you're going through your generativity stages of closing the book on your lifestyle career, and now what do you do with that 40, 50 hours a week that you used to dedicate to that career? Who are you? And so that's part of the identity transformation that I help work with my clients, is I meet them at the stage that they're at, and then I help them transform into their next step and essentially close that relevancy relocation gap or realization gap for them.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's a big package. And so to get to know them, what do you do to get to know them?
Well, during the consultations, we talk. A lot of people have the same basic conversations and questions with me, like how do I get my residency, healthcare, pets, etc. We cover those things. And then I start to ask them some questions. And one of my favorite ways to do this is I literally have them close their eyes and tell me their fantasy of what their dream life looks like in Mexico. Literally, I want to know what one day would look like to you in your dream life. If all of your dreams could come true, tell me what that is. And so by them telling me that, I can essentially take what they're saying, I can dissect it down into their feelings and their needs, and then I can understand what they value. And once I understand what they value, then I can understand how to make that dream come true for them. And so since I'm so well connected here in Puerto Vallarta and growing across Mexico as well, I'm able to use my connections, take their values, and put the two together and help them meet in the middle and create their dream life that they always wanted.
Wow, that's so fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like magic.
Yeah, psychological magic.
I love it. I love it. So if someone's dreaming of moving to Mexico, but they're feeling scared or overwhelmed, or they're not sure who they will be after the move, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say trust in yourself. Trust in yourself, because what people don't often realize is that when you pull yourself out of your comfort zone, you're going to put yourself into a little bit of chaos. And chaos is where you grow. It's a bit of a psychological, spiritual, and physical, logistically relocation chaos, right? Because everything is so different for you. But that's where you're going to grow the most. And if you trust in yourself and you have the right guidance, I think guidance is really, really important. Talk to somebody who's done it before, who's gone through these sort of transformations, who knows how to help prepare you for what you're going to go through. Because even though it's overwhelming and it can be a little scary, it will absolutely be the best decision you've ever made in your entire life. Like, truly will be. And so that's what I do, is I really help guide people through that and give them the support that they need and a friend, you know, someone they can count on.
Yeah, you're so cool. And so have you had any clients that have tried to do this before and failed?
I've not clients, because I guide them super specifically. Like I think of things that they haven't thought of yet, and I help bridge those gaps for them. But as someone who's lived in the community for 7.5 years, I have absolutely seen a lot of people that come here and they're not ready to address themselves. They're leaving their country for whatever reason, and they're avoiding something. And then they come here to Puerto Vallarta with the intention of that margarita sitting on the beach, and no other goal outside of that. And Puerto Vallarta has a way of saying, you know, look, either you're going to come here and you're going to open yourself up and you're going to transform into your best self, or you're going to hide from that and you're going to, you know, become a drunk on the beach. And then Puerto Vallarta has a way of kind of chewing you up, spitting you out, and sending you back where you came from until you're ready to come do it the right way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. Well, there you guys have it. If you ever thought about shaking things up and starting fresh in Mexico, hopefully this gave you a little or a lot of inspiration and maybe a big huge push. I mean, why would you not do this with a guide as fantastic as Des? So remember, it's not just about boxes and paperwork. It's about building a life that feels good, your dream life. So big thanks, Des, for keeping it real and reminding us that purpose and paradise can totally go hand in hand. So catch you next time on Asphalt Radio next month. Yes, same time, same vibe, always rolling with the cool people, fresh ideas. Also look for Des on CPS News, the only local English televised newscast in the Bay Area, on TV Mar, channel 10.1, YouTube, and Facebook. Of course, all of the links will be posted on Vallarta's Asphalt page, as well as Des's links and website. But just in case you're driving and you can't look on Facebook right now, how can they get a hold of you, Des?
So you can always find me on my website, www.mydestination.com. Destination is spelled with a D-E-Z because I'm Des.
And there you have it. And close your eyes. Close your eyes and start dreaming of the life. Well, we listen to some music, and then we will be back with more here on Asphalt Radio.